Hello, Hofstra fans. Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm PJ Potter here with John Russo, the head coach of the Hofstra baseball team. Coach, how's everything going?
Good, PJ. Thanks for having me.
4 games this weekend down in Alabama against Troy. You guys took one of those games. Overall thoughts on the weekend?
I thought we competed well all 4 games. I think we could have done a little bit better offensively in the third game. I liked their game 1 starter. I thought Troy was a really good team. Another good basis for CAA type action. Thought we got a good win, in game 2. But just good to continue on what we've been trying to build, getting guys in, getting playing time, learning about the team, just implementing baseball stuff in baseball games.
Speaking of that second game, your team rallied for a 4-run 9th inning to take the win after losing the lead earlier on. Just as a whole, talk about your team's mental toughness this year.
I've told them this, and I'll tell everybody this, is one of the things I've liked the most about this team is that they've competed every game. A lot of times you can put your head down, especially when you're on the road. We only had the 1 home game against New York Tech, and when you're on the road, you get beat up a little bit. You get frustration of umpires. You get frustration of a lot of breaks going the other team's way, because usually it seems the home team gets a lot of breaks. And the one thing this group has done continually, and I loved, is they've just competed. They keep playing hard. They haven't given up. We had a lead, felt good about it. Then a 3-run homer there ties it, and still we're able to push across in the 9th to win the game.
Jumping back to game 1, Teddy Silla's making his 3rd straight start for you guys. This time 1 earned over 5 innings. What adjustments was he making?
Well, it was really weird how that all worked out, but he had the bad start on the Sunday before, and then we wanted to get him an inning in against New York Tech, and he seemed to find pretty good stuff that day. We liked how he threw, and then on Friday night, talking to the Troy coaches afterwards, they thought he was as good as any starter they've seen this year. They loved him, and something about Teddy, is he likes the bigger game, the brighter lights, and really has the presence of a Friday night guy. And I think that's one of the things that got me most excited about him was, under the lights, great atmosphere. Troy had a beautiful ballpark and a really good team, and for 5 innings, he really gave it to him and had good stuff, super competed, had bases loaded one time, got out of a nice jam, and Teddy, pitched really well. I thought, he had the game early against Louisiana Lafayette, and this game was about as good a performance as he's had this year.
And then on Sunday, Brad Witkowski made his first career start on the mound. He allowed 5 runs over 2 2/3. Do you think we're going to be seeing him a lot more as a starter or just in general this year?
Well, we're down Andrew Monday now. He's out for the year with Tommy John surgery next week, and so we're just a little short in the pen. So we're looking for one more guy to step up that can continually, give us, good innings from the bullpen. The one thing we loved about Andrew is we knew that he could come in and compete at any given moment. He could throw strikes. It didn't matter the situations, bases loaded, nobody on, scored, nothing affected him. Brad has those similar type of attributes. He not much affects Brad either way. He just hasn't been on the mound either in a long time. So playing that 4th game was able to get Brad some innings, able to get some other bullpen guys some innings. I don't know if we'll see a lot of Brad starting, but we'd like to definitely keep Brad out of the relief and that action.
Mikey Reisner, he scattered 5 hits over the series, 6 RBIs. His batting average now a team-leading .340. Were you expecting him to be this successful coming in this year as a transfer?
I knew Mikey was overall really solid. He can field, he can run, he can hit pretty well. The thing that I've liked most about him right now is he's just been clutch. He had the bases loaded triple. Had a big RBI during the inning. We came back and scored the 7 runs, a single up the middle, and I put a lot of pressure on him, putting him in the 3-hole here this weekend. But my thought was he has been our best hitter of late. More importantly, he's driving in runs when they matter, and he's coming up with really big at bats. I think he's very. He played as a freshman in college in Division I. He had the JUCO experience. He's very experienced overall, and I think his confidence is now just coming out on the field of what he's probably always known he could do.
Now, due to inclement weather, your next 4 games have been postponed. Do you see this as more of a positive to give your team some rest after a long weekend on the road, or do you see it as more of a negative because you guys won't be hitting the field for about a week? Or could you see it as both?
Well, originally, we were thinking the time off wouldn't hurt us, but the bigger problem is you got to keep pitching. You know, they need to keep throwing, even if it's good outings. They once they're in a groove, they kind of can't take time off. And you know, so we're still looking at playing this coming weekend, maybe travel down. We're working out all final details right now for everything. But we're looking still to play this weekend. We've got to keep our starters, Rooney, Marrero, and Silas, on a pattern, because next weekend we open up with Charleston. And, besides the pitchers keep it on, I think the hitters need to keep hitting too. I mean, we had some good moments at Troy and we had some bad moments, and, still need to work on some adjustments. And I just don't think there's a lot we could accomplish in the cages indoors this weekend that would help us as much as what games would help us. And so hopefully we'll be able to get out this weekend and play. If not, we'll get a lot of work inside in cages and then get ready for Charleston the following weekend. But this weather's definitely put a little wrench into what our overall plans have been.
So if you happen to not play any games this weekend, your next opponent would be at NYIT. Now you guys beat them last week. You won 14-3, using 9 pitchers for the game. Will we be seeing that same approach?
It just depends. If we play this weekend, you would see that exact same approach. I think we like, talking to Habian, he likes to let a guy get in there, go get his 3 outs, and then get out and get his work in. So I like that. If we don't play this weekend, then you would have, I would assume, the conference guys and stuff would need a couple innings of work against NYT. Just right now is with the snow we had yesterday, with the weather, they do have an all-turf field, but looking at forecast and stuff ahead, everything's not looking great. So our main goal today is to try to figure out how to get out this weekend somewhere. If not, then to figure out how to get as much work indoors as we possibly can.
He's the head coach of the Hofstra baseball team, John Russo. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, PJ.